Yo. Welcome into the ChrisBeCappinn Show, man. Today is April the 26th, Saturday, April the 26th, playoff Saturday, April the 26th, man. Got my guy, LJ, came through to bless the people with some looks on this beautiful Saturday morning as well, man. As always, we appreciate you guys for tapping in. We just gonna go ahead and jump right into it for today, man. Real quick, as we always do, recap last night. LJ, Orlando, Boston got me last night, man. Yeah. They got me early. So on the show yesterday, I talked about, only having an official play on Milwaukee, which Milwaukee ended up being an easy winner, even though they came out the gate a little slow, lost the first quarter, lost the first half. Well, didn't cover the first quarter, first half, but a big second half from them, was able to get the W. But let's go back to this Boston thing. So you can see that I played Boston. I played that game twice, and I was kind of salty, if I'm being honest. My first bet was Orlando. I played it early in the day. This was when Jason Tatum was listed as doubtful. Jaylen Brown got popped up as questionable. Drew Holiday was listed as questionable. And I'm thinking, okay, at least two of those guys are going to sit. And Drew Holiday ends up not playing, but Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown end up getting ruled in. Orlando still ends up covering the full game, which, I gave out that super strong trend towards those teams in the first half, but they let me down last night. So with about 4 or 5 minutes left, I jump on Boston plus the 2.5. And that, they end up losing the game by 2. So I double dip most of the time. I don't. That's not something that I do frequently, but they did lose the game by 2. I thought they actually had a chance to win because I thought Orlando's offense would dry up. So 2 in 1 day. I say all that to say we soak up a little bit of profit. What about yourself, AJ? How was your day yesterday?
Yeah, same situation with you. I was wanting to take Boston first half because I know they're a monster on the road, especially versus the Eastern Conference. But I was waiting to see who was going to play. As soon as I hit that underdog and it said Jason Tatum and Brown is in, I went and smacked them first half. I tagged everybody, let them know Boston first half. So, yeah, I cashed on that one. And I had the Lakers first quarter. I was thinking they was going to come out with some sense of urgency. So I lost that one. But, 1 in 1 day for the most part. So.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that at all, man. Hey, Zeus, appreciate you, bro. He says, top of the morning, Chris. He says, ain't gonna lie, been on a roll. You've been on a roll. Appreciate your time and breakdowns these games. Cleveland, money line, OKC money line, Warriors, Rockets under is what I like. We'll talk about all of those and more. Joseph says, yo, excited to finally catch a live show this morning, Chris. Appreciate you, Joseph, for pulling up, man, for tapping in this morning. Good morning, prestigious prodigy, my guy. Danny Stacks says, hey, Chris, glad to finally make a show. Feels like forever. Yeah, when I do them a little bit later, which I can on the weekends at times, I feel like more people can come through for sure. What up? Dom says, good morning, Chris, LJ, and chat. Pacers in 5 is all I'm going to say. That second half was a complete outlier in my opinion. Dom's, being a little bit of a homer. He's an Indiana guy. I understand it. I get it. Good morning, Bryant says, good morning, Chris. Well, we couldn't close up Miami last night, and we'll get them Saturday. Milwaukee was a good call yesterday. Let's get it today. Absolutely. Good morning, Beach. Appreciate you for tapping in. Good morning, Brian Robinson as well. Let's see. Charles says, good morning. Right back at you, Charles. Top of the morning to my guy, Justin. What up, PG? Good morning, Drew. Says Ant-Man over Luka. Come on, Drew. And it's great. This is what we gonna post in the morning when Luka was sick yesterday. This is how we gonna start the day. Come on, Drew. All right, neither here nor there. It's a lot of comments coming in. I appreciate you all as always. I appreciate you all as always for joining in on the ChrisBeCappinn Show. Tyler says good morning. The over his 5-0 to 213 this year with these teams. How is this not free? We'll talk about that. Mr. Wipeout says WNBA season about to be crazy. I hope it is. I'm looking forward to it. Good morning, Mark. Good morning, Matt. What up, Real DJ X? Good morning, GLB. Good morning, Reem. Ant-Man is definitely that guy. I love Ant. Don't get it twisted. It's one of the reasons I don't got a future bet on the Lakers because I love Ant. But I don't know, man. Let's not I'm already down because my Lakers lost. Let's not throw salt on the wound. That's all I'm saying. All right, let's get into a productive show for today, LJ. First and foremost, I mentioned this yesterday, and so just make me LJ a little smaller. Today will be the official playback day. I am officially a playbacker, I guess is what you could call me. So today we will be watching the Denver Nuggets and the Clippers game at 6:00 Eastern Standard Time for people that want to come through. I made it super easy for you all. Yesterday I said this on the show just to follow me on Twitter, and I'll tweet the link out, which I will still do. But I also already, if you look at the comment section, if you look at the description of the video, I'm sorry, you can see that I already put the link there. So if you don't have a Playback and you're not sure what Playback is a way to kind of watch the live games. I'll get 20 VIP passes that I'll be giving out to people. We'll all be able to synchronize and watch the games at the same time. So if you don't have access to the game, which everybody should have access to the games, it's not like it's league pass, but if you don't have access to the game, I can give out 20 free passes. But yeah, we'll be watching the games. If we find some live betting opportunities, we will absolutely be shooting off on those. Especially if Denver comes out, win the first quarter. I'm probably going to be looking towards the Clippers. I'll just tell you guys now. So, yeah, come through, man. Immaculate vibes. We'll have some live game analysis. I'll get some commentary and let you guys, know how I'm kind of thinking about the games. It will be my first Playback, but it will be live today, 6 p.m. Like I said, the link is in the description of the video. You want to go ahead, if you're new to Playback, you want to go ahead and make your account now. Just so you can have that part out the way. We will be going live probably about 5:30, 5:45-ish before the game starts to make sure I got everything situated. It's my first time using the platform. So, yeah, super excited for Playback, man. Super excited for Playback. Like I said, the link is in the description of the video. All right, let's jump into it for today, LJ. No further ado. We'll start off as we always do with jaXon, your AI sports betting handicapping partner, homie, tool, whatever you want to call it, assistant. jaXon did go 1-1 yesterday. jaXon, like Wendell Carter Jr., under his 9.5 rebounds and assists. That was a loser. He had 12 rebounds by itself. But jaXon did give out a winner on the under between the Boston Celtics and the Orlando Magic. And I really like that as well. Under 198. We talked about Orlando being the third best defensive team at the crib. Both teams play at the slowest and second slowest pace. I'm always just looking towards unders in those games. And I know a lot of people can be scared off of totals, especially when they get 200, 198, 197. But I mean, the books got them that low for a reason. So 1-1 split for jaXon yesterday. Today, same prompt, right? I'm still looking towards unders as series go on. We typically see more defense. So same exact prompt. What is the best under player prop and best under total for today in the NBA? jaXon likes Sam Merrill of the Cleveland Cavaliers under his 3.5 rebounds and assists at plus 100 on ESPN Bet. It says while he's averaging 3.14 rebounds and assists in the last 36 games as a visitor, which is below his 3.5 line today. So it's a big part of it. Miami ranks 24th in defense against Merrill's position, but Merrill's role in the Cavaliers rotation limits his opportunities to exceed this line. He's under in 66% of his games on the road this season, showing consistent trend of staying below the mark. So yeah, plus 100 are some pretty solid odds if you want to take Sam Merrill under his 3.5 rebounds and assists. As far as total bet, under, same game. jaXon likes Cavs in Miami under 213.5 at minus 109 on Bet Rivers. Says the Cavs are key to play the slower pace in the playoffs. Both teams emphasizing defense. Game 1 of the series ended with 221 points, but that included high-scoring fourth quarter by the Cleveland Cavaliers. Defensive strengths, Cavs rank first in defensive efficiency, while Miami has allowed just 110 points per game in their last 5 contests. Playoff intensity, both teams tend to be more defensive, with the Miami needing a win to avoid falling into a 2-0 hole. Expect a grinded-out style play. So yeah, jaXon likes the under 213.5. Me and LJ gonna talk about all of these. But if you want more analysis, if you want to know how your plays, your handicap stacks up to an assistant, like check jaXon out. There's a 50% promo code in the description for whatever tier it is that you want to select. And jaXon is also, I always talk about this, you can use it for baseball, home run props, stolen base props, first 5, first 3, but you name it, right? So yeah, check jaXon out. It's not just a NBA thing. It's a sports betting assistant. So check jaXon out. Let's get into the games for today. Let's make sure I got these lines updated. I do not have this one updated off the rip. I put these lines in yesterday midday. I didn't think that they were going to move too much, but we have seen some injury news, which me and LJ will break down in just a second. But I do want to make sure these are updated. So this open about 6 total open. I got 212 here. You can see that the money has come in on the under. jaXon likes over though, but let's talk about it, LJ. So what I got in my notes, I didn't bet the game. I think we got to start the handicap off with Darius Garland being listed on the injury report, listed as questionable in this game due to a toe injury. So, I mean, that's a stinker, right? Like that. I mean, you need Garland, probably your second. Well, not probably your second best offensive player on the team. Somebody that generates a lot of the offense, somebody that runs, pushes the pace, somebody that can knock down the 3-point shot, and somebody that's been playing really good basketball in the first two games. So, I kind of want to see what happens with Garland. So a couple of things I looked at, LJ, going back to, where we are in the series. Of course, Cleveland has a dominating 2-0 lead in the series. And if you looked at why they've dominated, it's been because of their offense. Elite offensively. They've scored 121 points in game one with an offensive rating of 142.4. And I kind of give Miami a little bit of, I wouldn't say credit, but I understand that one a little bit more. Because Miami was coming off 1 day's rest. They had just played in Atlanta. They were coming off an overtime game. Cleveland had 6 days of rest. They were completely healthy at that time. So they absolutely steamrolled them, beat them 121-100. Game two, we saw Cleveland match that 121 points with another 121 points. This one was a little bit head-scratching because we thought that Miami would make some adjustments. They couldn't, though. Cleveland still had an offensive rating of 128.7. So a couple reasons that I like, to a couple things that like Miami in this game, LJ, their offense improved significantly from game one to game two, especially in the half court. They had a offensive rating in a half court offensive rating of 91.3 in game one. Remember, they only scored 100 points when under their team total that was set at 100. In game two, their half court offensive rating went to a 112.1. So that is a reason to like, to like Miami. But I came up with a few more reasons, LJ, to like Cleveland in this spot. First and foremost, I look at this trend of Miami being 0-9 straight up and against the spread as a home dog since the All-Star break. They're losing by an average of 16 points per game. Three losses came to the Boston Celtics. They got a loss in here to the Mavericks, to the Warriors, to the Nuggets, to the Timberwolves, to the Bucks, and a loss in here to the Cleveland Cavaliers. You can point to Cleveland being a weaker road team after the All-Star break. They did go just 11-6 straight up, 8-9 against the spread, finishing 2-7 in their last 7 games. But we got to take those numbers with a grain of salt, LJ. We know Cleveland was resting players on the back end, whether it was Darius Garland, Evan Mobley, Jared Allen, Donovan Mitchell. So that makes it a little difficult. Miami's 3-point defense, we know Cleveland's going to be jacking all game, LJ. Miami's 3-point defense hasn't been great all season. They finished the regular season 22nd in opponent 3-point frequency and middle of the pack, 14th in opponent 3-point accuracy. Meanwhile, Cleveland has shot the third most threes on the season, and they've hit them at the second highest clip. So it's really, really difficult, LJ, especially without knowing, if Darius Garland is going to be present for this game. I'm guessing he sucks it up. I'm not sure, though. So I'll kick it to you, LJ. Then I'll talk a little bit about the total. How you thinking about this game as far as side total player prop? What you looking at here?
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I was concerned that Darius Garland is questionable because I capped this as team total over. I was going to take it at 109.5, but that's a lot of points missing with Darius Garland. He's had 20 plus in both games. He's their second leading scorer, as you mentioned. So that means that puts extra pressure on Donovan Mitchell. If you just want to take his 30, I mean, he's had it in both games. So he's going to have 30 if Garland doesn't play. But if Garland does play, I might still jump on the team total because I'm like you. It's a playoff game. If he playing, that means he's going to suck it up and put that effort in. So I'm looking at the points. Cleveland averages the most points on the road, 121 on the road on the season. So, and I don't see Miami putting any type of resistance up for them not to score like that if Garland is in the lineup. But if he's not, Chris, if he's not in the lineup, that means that they have to start a different starting lineup. And I believe Miami can catch them slipping early. So if that happens, I will take Miami first quarter. I will make it official once the lineups come out because they're 14-4 in their last 18 games, going back to the regular season in the first quarter. They're already 3-1 so far in the playoffs right now. So they play early, but concern is they've been on the road since April 13th. That's almost 2 weeks that you've been gone.
That's a fact.
You get what I'm saying? So that's a concern for me as well. Another reason why I haven't bet it yet, So those are the things that I'm factoring in. I believe the Heat will play with pride because they are at home. But at the same time, I just think the Cavs got too much depth. They got too much length. And I believe at the end of the day, the way Donovan Mitchell's playing, I believe that he's on a mission to try to at least get to the Eastern Conference Finals, So I believe they still win the game. But Miami could cover. But like I said, it just depends on who's going the rosters and the lineups. That's what.
Yeah, man. I actually hate, I feel like I do the audience a disservice. I mean, I want to give you guys my thought process. It sucks when you don't have a bet. You know what I mean? Like for me, it sucks when I don't have a bet because as much as I like talking about basketball, I like making money a lot more. So when I come on here and I break the game down, beforehand and I don't have a look, it doesn't make me feel great. But just kind of giving you guys my thought process on the game. I see a couple people in the chat, talking about this team total. Dimes says he played Cavs team total 109.5. Looks like 109.5 is the best number. It's consensus right now as well for the Cavs to score 110 points. Justin says he tailed it as well. He likes the over specifically for that side. So let's talk about the total real quick. I said I was going to kick it to LJ and then get back to the total. So a couple things stand out to me as far as the total goes. It's a very interesting. The totals in this series has been very interesting. So we saw game one go over. I think it was 212.5, 212, something like that. It went over pretty easily because the Cavs scored 121 points. Then in game two, we saw that one fly up and over the total. I think they finished at like 230 plus in that game because Cavs scored another 121, and then Miami got to 113. So my thought process here is what I put in my notes is the three-point shooting, right? So game one saw the teams combined for 74 three-pointers, LJ. Both teams shot 40% from the three-point line as well. We saw. So I mean, when you get a slow-paced team with a low total, slow pace equals low total, and then when you get these threes at this volume and you start seeing the percentage at 40%, that's the recipe for over, right? When you look thinking low, you want to go over if the three-point shooting is going to be there. We saw this with the Lakers last night in the Timberwolves, right? That game goes up and over the total. Shout out to Cal because I know Cal liked the over, and after listening to his breakdown, I said, man, that makes a ton of sense. So I do agree with that. So that's what we saw in game one. Game two, remember I said, LJ, 74 threes attempted in game one between the two teams. Game two saw 90 three-point attempts. With Cleveland shooting 48.9%, Miami shooting 35.5%. To put that in perspective, LJ, Miami shot 80. They shot the ball 81 times. They took 45 threes. That means more than half of their shots were three-point attempts. That to me is a little bit insane. We also saw the pace increase. Game one was played 81.5 possessions per game. Game two was 94.5 possessions per team. So we did see the pace pick up in these games. It is important to note in the last 5 games of the regular season, Miami shot the 8th fewest threes at just 35% of their actual field goal attempts, which could suggest that, they only took that many threes because they couldn't guard the three-point line themselves because Cleveland, Cleveland was jacking. So they, and Cleveland was hidden. So the thing we got to ask ourselves here, we know Miami is a more slower paced team. We know that they, are going to try to mix it up a little bit and do something different. Spoelstra's going to try to do something different. The thing we got to ask ourselves here is, are they going to be able, first of all, is Darius Garland going to play? But secondly, are they going to continue to knock down those three-point shots? I would venture out to say yes, LJ, as long as Darius Garland plays. I couldn't talk anybody off this team total that they like here. I also kind of lean towards the Cavs. I think that they can get the job done. This is becoming, a little bit more of a heated rivalry with the comments coming out from Darius Garland talking about, we're gonna sustain the offense just by going out there and finding, Tyler Hero. We're just gonna continue to pick on their worst defender, Tyler Hero. It's what he said after the game. I don't know if people got a chance to catch that. So it is becoming a little bit more of a heated rivalry. I think the total I think it's just a tad bit too low still at 213. I do think that. We see points in this game. So we spent a lot of time on it to have no official plays, but hopefully the handicap makes sense to you guys. And any player props in this one you looking at, LJ?
No, I didn't really. Like I mentioned, if Garland is going to be out, you might as well just go to Donovan Mitchell. He already had 30 in both games. So whatever his point prop goes to, if he's out, Garland, that's the only player I would look at, because he's going to have to sustain the offense much more, give you more, and for his assists in addition, so. Donovan Mitchell would be the play on a player prop.
Yeah. And we know that role players typically don't play as good on the road, so the star has to step up, right? So it would not surprise me if Donovan Mitchell was that guy today, especially if Darius Garland is not in there. Real quick, let's take a little field trip over to Outlier. I'll tell you guys one that I was looking at. Let me minimize me and LJ a little bit. All right, so this is Outlier. There is a link in the description where you can get a 7-day free trial. I'm looking at Bam here, LJ. Specifically at Bam rebounds. This was something that, just kind of going through the box score. Game 1, we saw this is just his rebounds, right? So, well, now it's up to 11.5. It was 10.5, and I think it got bumped up. We saw Bam get 14 rebounds in the last game. This was with Cleveland. I just gave you guys the numbers. Cleveland shot the leather off the basketball, and you see the rebound attempts here, 15 and 24 in the last 2 games. If we think that Spoelstra has any kind of trick up his sleeve, if we think that Bam's going to be the guy that's going to continue to rebound the basketball, I don't think that this is necessarily a bad look. I think, when I think about Cleveland, it's kind of interesting that, they have Jared Allen and Evan Mobley, but they're not the greatest rebounding team. And I always found that pretty interesting. But yeah, they're a team that gives up offensive rebounds. Of course, Bam is he's the best rebounder on the Miami Heat. So with the number, I didn't know that this went up to 11.5. I don't like it as much at 11.5, but this was one thing that I had written in my notes as far as player prop goes. And just to give you guys some numbers really quickly, because I want to make sure I'm sharing numbers. Cleveland was 15th in offensive rebound percentage, so about middle of the pack. And then defensively, they on the full season, Cleveland was actually the 7th worst team as far as offensive rebounds allowed. So they gave up a ton of offensive rebounds. I know that if we go back and look at what Wiggins was able to do in the last game, he didn't really do much in that game as far as rebounds. I think he finished with just 1. So maybe even a buy low spot on a guy like on Wiggins. Maybe we'll see. We shall see. Real quick comments, getting some love here. LJ Riz says LJ to GOAT. LJ a GOAT. What's up? I love us. Tori says this Heat game is going to be like the Grizzlies and Miami first half. Could not talk you. I'm glad I read this comment, Tori. So real quick, I shared this trade yesterday, going all the way back to 2020, going all the way back to 2005. So 20 years, the last 20 years, teams down 0-2 are 93, 52, and 2 against the spread. This does not include yesterday. But teams that are down 0-2 are 93, 52, and 2 against the number in the first half. It was one of the reasons why I liked Orlando. They did not get the job done because they have a stagnant offense. But that's 64% against the spread in the first half of game 3. It's just FYI. So that makes a lot of sense, Tori. If you like Miami, get in and get out. Could not talk you off of that at all. Let's see. Tyler says Ty Jerome over his points, rebounds, and assists, hoping Garland sits. Jerome is over in all 6 games without Garland this year, averaging 29 points, rebounds, and assists in those games. He also had 23 and 7 versus Miami without Garland this year. Okay, good notes here from Tyler. Appreciate that, Tyler. Dom says another note that the Miami Heat fans are always, this is a fact, always late during the playoffs. If that arena is half full, when the game starts, he likes the Cavs first quarter. So maybe fade him early in this spot. We shall see, though. We shall see. What's up, True? He says, peace, Chris. And with D Mitch versus Miami in the starting lineup, speeds up. Miami, where gotta come to play. Yeah, that's a fact. I do agree with that. And this comment just makes me think. I didn't even look into it, but Davion was the guy that I talked about in game number 2. Davion Mitchell absolutely continues to crush his player prop. He's going to be out there. It's the same handicap, right? He's going to be out there. They need him to facilitate the basketball, to help Tyler Hero. They also need him to knock down some threes, and more than anything, they need him to slow down Donovan Mitchell. So Davion points, rebounds, and assists at 20.5. He's gone over in 8 of his last 10 games. The 2 that he missed were the last 2 games of the regular season against the Pelicans and the Washington Wizards, where he played just 6 and 10 minutes. He played just 22 and 19 minutes. He's played at least 33 minutes in the last 4 games, which include both of the play-in games and both of the first 2 games. So couldn't talk anybody off from Davion. Points, rebounds, and assists. Points and assists in general listed at 18.5. He's gone over that in all 4 games since the play-in started, in 7 of his last 9 games as well. Like I said, the 2 stinkers were the 2 games where his minutes, he didn't play many minutes against the Pelicans because they won by 50 and then they were trying to lose to the Wizards. So yeah, I think we did a pretty good job here. Davion is definitely somebody that's on the short list. I kind of forgot about Davion. Let's keep it pushing, LJ. We was on that game for a while, and we'll be on this one definitely for a shorter period of time. I got to go in and update the line really quickly because I did not do so. Like I said, I made these graphics yesterday. This line has gotten all the way to 15 now, and we have seen some money come in on the under. Looks like consensus is about 222 and a half. Take it away, LJ. OKC at the crib. OKC on the road looking to be the first team to advance to the second round with relative ease outside of, having to, have the greatest comeback in the second half that we saw in game number 3 after going down 29. Now we, got, Ja already listed as out in this game. Luke Kennard listed as questionable as well. Is there a play in this game, LJ, at all?
Yes, man. First half full game OKC. I mean, there's nothing left to be said. I believe they take care of Memphis today. They had a scare the last game. Memphis was the game they were supposed to win. And maybe they would have some effort in this game. But the fact of how they lost that lead the last game, I don't see any type of urgency.
What does that do for your psyche, LJ, as a basketball player?
I mean, they ready to go home, man. They probably made plans after that. They just showing up today just to get the check, and then they go ride out to the vacation, my friend. OKC is going to definitely destroy these guys, I believe. And like I said, I'm going to split my unit up. First half, full game, especially first half, because OKC, they led the NBA in first half road net rating on the season. And they lost the first half last game. So I believe they're going to be determined to show different of what they showed the last game, full game as well. So, and the next highest rating at the first half road net is Boston. And that's why we cashed last night, So both these teams are good in the first half on the road. So I'm going to stick to that trend and just ride out with OKC, man. I mean, like I said, split up the unit, first half full game, nothing left to be said, man. Memphis get out the brooms today. They will be on vacation.
Okay. LJ says it's over for it, man, and I'm not arguing with LJ. if y'all been following the show, and if you watched the video last week, we were talking about why we really like this one to be a sweep, man. I thought that the books were giving me a little bit of a discount, LJ.
Right. I
thought it was a little bit of a discount, man. We took OKC to get a sweep at plus 165. I'm like, whoa, we don't think that OKC go be able to go in Memphis and win 2 more games, like just win. So yeah. I don't need to bet this one. I just got a money line bet here, LJ. If they win, I'll guess the plus 160, plus 165, whatever that number was. As far as the game now, I did do some digging because I want to leave you guys with something. I didn't look into player props, but one thing that kind of stood out to me as far as what was the number that you got real quick first, LJ?
For what? First half, full game?
Yeah, OKC first half.
7.5.
Minus 7.5. Okay. All right, cool. So what I'll say about this is it was a lot of energy exerted in that last game, LJ. In the history for OKC to have to come back, right? So in the history of the Give Me the Dog database, only about 46 times has a team overcome a 25-point deficit to win a game and then be favorites in their next game in the playoffs specifically, right? In those next games, the totals are 29, 16, and 1 to the under. That's about 64.5%. However, we have lost we've lost some steam here. We've lost some steam because this opened at 225.5, and the spread also opened a lot smaller. Before I saw this at I think it was 11.5, 10.5. And this was, right when the line opened. But Ja Morant, people were, the Sharps were already knowing that Ja Morant, why would you come back and risk him in this game that you're probably not going to win? And this has been a debacle of a series for Memphis. They might have done better just losing to Dallas and helping me win some money, because I did bet Dallas plus the points than to have to go out with an ending like this. Sometimes it's not good to make the playoffs. So sometimes you what? We would have been better. You know what I mean? I would have had a better summer just losing to the Dallas Mavericks, But getting back to what I was saying. So strong trend towards the under. Closeout games with a road favorite is typically with a road favorite closeout games where the road team is a favorite typically go under as well, because you see a lot of effort and energy from the team at home. 62-49 to the under since 2002. That's about 56%. But to LJ's point, Memphis is probably just checked out at this point, man. If you add that the road team is a double-digit favorite in a closeout game, they're actually 6-3 to the over. The road team, LJ, peep this. The road team, the road favorite, is 8-0-1 against the spread. And if they're a double-digit road favorite in a closeout game, they're winning by an average of 20.3 points per game. It says the Thunder run away with this one and win this game by margin. I think, like I said, you are getting the worst of the number, but I mean, OKC can pretty much do whatever it is that they want to in this game. And you also got the benefit of rest. Not that they are an old team at all and, need the rest, but you get the rest. You get to, go ahead and start watching some of the other games. You get to get back home. You don't have to prepare for a game, in the next coming days. You get to, kind of chill, relax, get some recovery time, some therapy, all that good stuff, some physical therapy, just some healing for your body before you get ready for a actual real opponent in the second round. Yeah. No matter who they get, they'll get a little bit more of a challenge than the Memphis Grizzlies in this next one. So it's tough to take Memphis minus 15, but OKC minus 15, but that's the way I would look. And I don't think LJ got a bad look either. With OKC OKC in the first half minus the 7.5, thinking that they bounce back really, really well in this spot. So it's tough, man. It's tough. It's a tough game to bet with the with the spread being where it is. Real quick, going to comments. Dion says Scottie Pippen son over Ja. He thinks Ja may be out. So, yeah, Scottie Pippen Jr. did have a really good game. And if you're betting on Memphis in this game, you're betting on their three-point shooting to look like it did in the first half, not the second half, where they were held to, I think, 35 points combined. I love it. Says sweep. Macho says took the OKC sweep. Saw your Saturday video. Thanks. OKC took Memphis soul. They absolutely did. It's grueling, man. I don't think we've ever seen this. And this, I knew it was one more thing I wanted to mention. I forgot to write this down. So peep this too, LJ. This is the largest closeout line for a road favorite in NBA history. We've never seen a team laying 15 points in a closeout game. It's never been done. I think when I looked at it yesterday, there was only one team in the NBA that was laying 14 points in a closeout game. Now this line up to 15. They're the largest road favorite in a closeout game in NBA history, according to the Gimme the Dog database. So, I think
if Memphis would have won the game, it wouldn't have been this line this game 4. It would have been, in my opinion. That's the only reason why this line is because of how Memphis lost that 30-point lead. It's crazy.
That's an absolute fact. That is a fact. And, just to go into the psychology of it, you lose a game by 50, and that's embarrassing. You come back out and you get smoked by 20. That's even more embarrassing. You come home in front of your home crowd, you got a 29-point lead. You lose that too. That's embarrassing. That's why I think you checked out in this game. You know what? It's like, let's not even show up. You know what I mean? It's done. What I'm gonna do? Go out here and get hurt in this game? Absolutely not. Quincy says Desmond Bane over his points. I would go Jared Jackson Jr. I talked about why I don't like Desmond Bane in the last game. I'm not sure if he's hit his player prop in any of the games so far. Good morning, Joe. Appreciate you for tapping in. Mark says he got OKC minus 8 in the first half, so he agrees with LJ in this spot. I couldn't talk anybody off of that. Dom says he played first half minus 7.5 as well. Grizzlies are cooked. You can still get a 7.5, just FYI, on bet. ESPN bet got a minus 115. Only reason I'm not gonna play is because I don't want to double dip, but I like it. I like what we're talking about here. Tori says I got Memphis first to 10. After that, bye-bye. I don't even know if they get to 10 first, not gonna lie. I don't even know if they get to 10 first, man. Dom says Grizz first half team total under 52.5 as well. Dion says Luke Kennard under his 9.5 points. We'll see if he actually plays. Helping Hand says first half total under 115 at minus 145. What up, J man? Appreciate you for tapping in. True says he likes Aaron Wiggins to get 10. Chet Holmgren double OKC money line. Couldn't talk you off of that. This could actually be, now that I'm thinking about it out loud, LJ, this could be a game where and I know it sounds gross, but this could be a game, and I probably wouldn't play it, but this could be a game where you actually face Shea. Does Shea need to get to 32 points in this game?
No.
I mean, he hasn't gotten there into it. I don't think has he hit his over at all, LJ?
No,
I think he landed on 31 in game 2, right? In game 3, right?
31 and a half. He had 31.
Yeah. I mean, why would he need to score 32 points in this game? I don't understand why. He hasn't gotten it in the first 2 games either. So he's 0 for 3 on his player prop. And this is one of the ones where when True said Aaron Wiggins over, it immediately made me think, well, this is going to be a blowout. Shea might play 3 quarters. You know what I mean? So fading Shea in this spot with a super high number at 31 and a half, I think that could be something that we look at as well.
Yeah.
BC says he likes Grizzlies team total under 103. A lot of people like it. She says he'll lay it. Memphis still in Cancun. Mark says Grizzlies finish. OKC first half. OKC first half team total over 59 and a half at Chad. Yeah, I like it. I like it a lot. And you get some love on your shirt too from Dom's. Jay says that Martin shirt is fire. Yeah. Love Martin, man. That's the greatest show ever.
Well, it is, bro.
I love Martin. Marie says Cavs game first half under 105 and a half is something that he likes. Okay. All right. Pretty good job here, LJ. We think it's going to be a smackdown. Next game up, we got the Clippers and the Nuggets. Again, I mentioned this already, but I will, if you join late, I will be doing a playback today. First ever playback. We will be watching this game, providing my thoughts, some live handicapping. If there is a line that I like, some bets that I want to make, I will be firing off. So definitely check that out. I did put the link for the playback in the description of the video. If you're new to playback, just go in, create an account. And then, around 6 o'clock when I go live, you should get a notification. I will be going live a little bit earlier than 6 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. But yeah, come through and watch the game with me, man. Watch the game. We'll talk about it. Hopefully it doesn't turn into a massacre like the last one. So let's jump into it, LJ. We got interesting notes here. We got Michael Porter Jr. listed as questionable again. Of course, he was questionable in game number 3 with that shoulder injury. He still played 35 minutes, though, LJ. Didn't do much. I think he shot abysmal 2 for 7, had maybe 9 points or 7 points, something like that. Westbrook also popped up on the injury report, LJ. He's listed as questionable with a foot injury. We saw the Clippers absolutely mollywop the Denver Nuggets after the first quarter. Denver came out, they had a little something early. After that, Clippers never looked back. They absolutely smoked the Denver Nuggets in the second quarter. They won the third. They won the third quarter. As far as point spread, as far as outscoring the Denver Nuggets. They even won the fourth quarter too. They didn't even let up. So I'm curious to know. We got a bigger line here, LJ. Game 3 actually opened 4.5, got pushed to 5. Then we saw the 5.5s. Now we got the Clippers opening at, I think this pretty much opened at 6. I saw 6.5 earlier. How you looking at this one, LJ?
I'm gonna stick to the Clippers early. They've been cashing at against the spread in a full game as well. Both of them are 3-0 already in the playoffs. So, but I'm thinking that Denver's going to show some heart at the end of the game to where they'll probably keep it close. You know what I'm saying? So I just want to trust first half Clippers. The Nuggets already proven, Chris, that they're pretty much a bad defensive team, man. And that's mainly the reason why Mike Malone got fired. You get what I'm saying? There's always a reason for something. So maybe they saw that this is not a defensive team. They give up a lot of points. And the Clippers are third in offensive rating, man, at home since post All-Star break. So they're putting up points. They crash out at this home, and I like them to it though. I'm gonna actually be there next All-Star game. It's in so I want to go see this stadium. I've been hearing good things about it, and I'm a Steve Ballmer fan. I enjoy his enthusiasm as an owner. He put a lot of money into this team, and he has a chance to fight for a championship, man. And the way the Clippers are playing, man, I see Western Conference Finals. I haven't bet it yet. Let me see how they play today. But if they mollywop Denver again, bro, I think they go into the Western Conference Finals, man. And the fact that James Harden is playing the way he's playing, everybody knows that I've seen a lot of James Harden living here in Houston. A lot of disappointments. A lot of highs too, but it was more disappointments because really couldn't trust him at the end of the games. But he got Kawhi on his squad now. And he has a big man in Zubac. So he has more help than I feel he's ever had in his career, in my opinion. You could go back to KD and Kyrie. I'm even talking about that team. You get what I'm saying? I believe that this is a better cohesive team for him. And he has a coach in Ty Lue who has championship experience, has a ring. And you have Van Gundy as your defensive-minded assistant coach. So
Van Gundy, I don't know, get enough credit, LJ. Not to even cut you off. Van Gundy is, boy. Go ahead, continue. Van Gundy is.
I'm just saying that's one of the reasons why their team is the way they are. And you have a healthy Kawhi Leonard. All those pieces factor into the Clippers. First of all, I think they're going to take care of business today. You know what I'm saying? So I'm going to be on the first half. You know, like I said, 3-0 against the spread in the first half already. You're getting average of 86 points from your starters, 91 the last game. So I don't think Denver has enough hogs to keep up with the scoring of the Clippers is what I'm basically trying to say. And you might as well, if you go take some on Denver, Jokic, might as well take the triple-double. If he's going to go out, he's going to go out fighting. I just think he's that type of player. He's all-star, MVP in this league. And I believe that if you go trust Denver to at least cover today, you got to trust Jokic to put up big numbers because, as you just mentioned, Porter's hobbling, Russell Westbrook is your only pretty much offense off the bench, and now he's concerned with an injury. So it's just too much stuff going on for Denver to try to invest in them, try to come in and even up the series right now. Well, at least not even up, but it'll be 2-2. But other than that, Chris, I'm on the Clippers first half, man. I got it at -3.5. So that's my official play for this game.
I like it, LJ. It's a lot of people that like Clips early. I feel like that's the only thing I see in the comment section. Where we start with it at? I think she was on it first. It's Clip first half. Then I see Brian, Clips first half, full game. They don't let up on Denver today. Mark says Clips at home is good money. Doms first half Clips. So it's a lot of Doms also likes that team total up and over. Think that they can get to 110 in this game as well. Mark, real quick to this comment from Mark. He says, I've been saying the Clippers, could potentially win the West. I'm not even gonna say I necessarily disagree with this. I know Cal talked about before the first round started, having a potentially putting a little, I don't know if he played it or not, but putting a little something on the Clippers. I think they were plus 1,200 to win the West. And I saw somebody mention, I can't go all the way up in the comments right now, but I saw somebody mention it. I think they did down to plus 750. Yeah. So I don't think it's a bad look at all. Beware says Clippers over, team total over against a horrible defense. Brian says could be their year for sure. Drip says Ballmer gets a little weird with the hugs and touching, but I respect the bag and he dropped on the Clips. That's a fact. They had to get out of crypto. Man. That's I always say that they played in the basement anyway because they the little brothers. So they ain't had no jewelry in there. They ain't got nothing hanging from the rafters. So I'm glad they got their own little, new. I ain't gonna say little because it's impressive arena that they got. Bomber decked that thing out. They got chargers at every seat and more bathrooms than any other. Yeah, it's a lot going on. Bomber got going on the wall. Yeah. He dropped the bag, but yeah. You gotta plan for your owner when he has that much enthusiasm about the game. So I'm definitely a Bomber fan, like you said, LJ, and agree with this comment from Drip for sure. Let's see. She says free Jokic. I don't think they're going anywhere. I don't think so. BC says Jokic like Giannis. It's gonna get his, but the supporting cast won't get theirs. Brian says Norman Powell and Leonard points. Dom says Clips second quarter as well, -1.5. Justin says Joker triple double. He did have one in the last game, plus 100. LJ just kind of alluded to that. Nally says good morning. Clippers winning this series. They have to pay for their wall in the Intuit Dome. That's a fact. That is a fact. Antonio says I'm putting my life on Denver first half. So not sure what Antonio got, but maybe he got the inside scoop, man. I'm gonna just wish you the best, Antonio. Dom says Balmer don't believe in personal space. Yeah, it do feel like that at times, man. It do feel like that. Shout out to Dobbs. All right, so let me give y'all my cap on the game, man. So I couldn't disagree at all. I think the Denver Nuggets. I just think that they're overmatched, man. Before game 3, I had already talked about. I had won every single bet that I had placed in the series so far. Game 1, it was Clippers plus the 2.5. Shout out to Norm Powell for hitting that 3-pointer to help them lose by 2. Game 2, I thought that they were a better team. I went right back to them on the money line. That was a winning proposition. The Clippers got the job done. Game 3, I stayed off because I got the Clippers plus 1.5 on the full series, and I got the Clippers to win the series at plus 150. Nice. So I got 4 bets on the Clippers. I didn't think it was going to be this easy, LJ. I had no idea that I could have just laid it every single game. The Clippers have covered every single game so far, and we already know the numbers, right? At home, they're a much better team. We saw it in the last game. I don't know if there's too much of an adjustment that can be made, as far as what Denver's going to do a little bit differently in this game. Now, will they try? Yes. Do they have an interim head coach? Yes. That Ottoman, I don't think is necessarily the greatest guy. The trend that we've seen, LJ, is that the teams that have fired their coaches at the end of the season have been absolutely getting mollywopped. I don't think they've covered, right? I know the Grizzlies covered the last game, but teams that have fired their coaches have won 0 games in the playoffs so far. You just mentioned Ty Lue, championship head coach with the Cleveland Cavaliers back in the day. You see Van Gundy and how feisty he is when he wouldn't get a ball back to Joker a couple of days ago. So you can only imagine what how well he's coaching those guys up on the defensive end. So what I wrote in my notes was, even though Denver scored 130 plus, even though the Clippers scored 130 plus points and had an offensive rating of 133 in game number 2, the pace was still slow, LJ. It was still actually the slowest of all 3 games. They had 89 possessions per team in game number 3. So that's slower than the first pace, and the slower the first game and the second game. What that does is it scares me a little bit off for the Clippers team total to go over. Even though we know Denver's not the greatest defensive team, if the game is going to be played that slow, the reason why they dominated because their offensive rating was so good. I mean, when you're not going to miss a shot, you don't got to run up and down the floor. You can take your time. And you can win with your defense, which is also something that they won with. So if you ask me, matter of fact, let me not sway too far away from my notes. So now you ask yourself, which is better? Which has the better chance of showing up again? Their offense, getting 136.7 offensive rating again, or their defense, which held Denver to an abysmal 103.8 offensive rating. History tells us that home favorites who previously won as a home favorite, now they're having to cover a graded line, and they're facing the same opponents they previously beat. They are profitable. It's not super profitable. 53, 45, and 1 against the spread. That's about 54%. Those games are also 55, 41, and 3 to the under, 57.3%. So it says that the home team that mollywopped the team in the last game, if they're laying a bigger number, their defense plays better, not necessarily their offense all the time. So that's why I'll stay away from the Clippers team total here. That is, of course, a league-wide trend, not necessarily just a trend that's going to back these teams specifically. But I like looking into those things. Also, I looked into 5 seeds in the first round who have a bigger spread to cover than their previous spread. They are 9-6 against the spread, dating all the way back to 2003. So that's some more support to to back the Clippers in this spot. I just think that, like you mentioned, LJ, going back to the top of the handicap, I know Westbrook isn't the greatest, but if you're missing him, you're missing a lot of energy, a lot of effort, somebody that can facilitate. If you're missing Michael Porter Jr., or if he's just hampered, like you got to 83 points in the last game, and we already talked about the Clippers going into the break being the last 10 games they were the second best defensive team in the NBA, and they turn up at the crib. You know what I mean? Covering all the numbers. So I do think it's Clippers again. You can still get first half for people who are interested. It looks like Bet365 got a -3. That's -115. Caesars got a -3. That's -115, and everybody else looks like has a 3.5. So you can get the Clippers -3 in the first half if you like that. I think the Clippers win the game and cover it as well. I'm not sure if I'll play it just because I got the 2 series prices, and if the Clippers win this game, they'll be up 3-1, and then I'm looking for just one more win. You know what I mean? One more win, and I cashed 2 tickets. So I'm not sure if I'll double dip in this spot again, or triple dip almost, because I got 2 futures. But I do think the Clippers are the right side, and if I had to bet it, that's the way that I would be betting. Any player props in this one, LJ? I know Norman Powell came back home, had a pretty big game in game number 3. Would you look at him, or would you just kind of stick to Jokic that you talked about already?
Yeah, just stick to Jokic. I mean, like I mentioned, you take the team that don't have the value for as the players. So somebody's going to have to step up and have more usage. So the Clippers spread their usage around. You never know who's going to have a good game. You get what I'm saying? But like I mentioned, if you want to look at Hard, you can take his assists. He's had, 11, 7, and 9 assists. So if that assist is still at 8.5, it's at 9, I would probably take Hard with the 9 assists. But like I mentioned, the offense is just fluent right now. Zubac double-double, good look as well. You always can go back to that, and Kawhi points, 22, 39, 21 in the series. So it's a lot of ways you can look at the Clippers, but if you want to just stick to one that you for sure probably will be close to cash, and just take Jokic triple-double, because he's going to have to pretty much dominate the game if the Nuggets are going to be in this game. my opinion.
Yeah, that's a fact. That's a fact. So Harden assists is up to 9.5. It is plus 115. Looks like the best number is on Bet365. He did finish the game number 2 with game 3. I'm sorry, with 9 assists. Game 2 in Denver, he finished with 7 assists. In game 1, he finished with 11 assists. We go down and look at his potential assists: 17 in game 1, 11 in game 2, and 14 in game 3. So the potential assists are there. I think I would probably stay away from Harden, even though the Denver Nuggets do allow more assists than any other team outside of one. And we mentioned this before the series started. Denver had the worst defensive rating of any team in the playoffs. That was Eastern Conference and Western Conference. This has not been a good defensive team. You can't flip that switch. And Mike Malone, I think it got him fired because the players weren't responding. But they also not responding to Adelman because they don't really want to play defense. They just like playing offense. We saw a little bit of this last year as well. And I don't think that they're just going to magically flip a switch in this game. And even if they do, right, let's say Denver offense looks better. They score more than 83 points they scored in the last game, LJ. Can they stop the Clippers anyway? Even if the offense looks better, I'm not sure. And who says that they're going to who says that they're going to score the basketball? So even if they play better defense, it's not like the Clippers out here giving up 125 points a game. The Clippers defense has been really, really solid. We only expect it to be just as good as it was in the last game. So real quick on this comment from Mark, I based on just pace, Mark, I would lean under. Like I mentioned, this has been the game number 3, even though the Clippers blew them out. Like I said, the pace in that game was 89 possessions per team. Game 1 had a 91 pace. Game 2 had a 93 pace. So we saw it go up, but the total still went under in game 2. And then we saw it come back down to 89 possessions per team in game 3, Mark. So I'll lean under, but probably just the Denver team total under, if I'm being honest. It would be my thought process. I think the Clippers can kind of name that number. They could have another strong offensive game, or they could, potentially not have a strong offensive game and win it with their defense. So, yeah, I'm not gonna rush to bet the total, but I think I would lean with a Denver Nuggets team total under if I was betting on anything on the total side here. Just really struggling to see how they score points in this game. You can get their team total at 103.5. That's probably what I would look towards the under on. All right, next game, LJ. Your Houston Rockets will be in the Bay, taking on the Golden State Warriors. It looks like the Warriors line is now down to, this actually went back up. So it came down to 2.5 yesterday, opened 3. So let's go in and fix this real quick. It opened 3.5, I think is what I saw that after game number 2 ended. So now we got a game 3 here. See if I can find it. All right. So we got this line is now, consensus is the Warriors laying 3 points and the total is 204.5. So we've seen some money come in on the over in this game. Got to talk about the injury report in this one as well, LJ. Unfortunately, Gary Payton II is listed as questionable with a shoulder injury. Jock Landale for you guys will be out. And then, of course, the biggest one is Jimmy Butler, listed as questionable with that glute injury after taking that hard fall where he landed on his backside pretty hard. Did miss the rest of the game as well. Got the MRI, probably going to be getting some pain injections. I would go out on a limb, and I'm totally speculating. I would go out on a limb and says Jimmy play in this game, especially with it being 1-1. Game 3s are crucial. We've talked about this before, LJ. You know already. But tell me what you're thinking about this one, LJ. What do you think about this game? You're muted. You're muted, LJ.
My bad. Yeah, I believe this is going to be a hard-fought game 3, man. It's a lot of blood in this series. I was up close watching this at home, game 1 and 2. And, I just believe it's going to be hard fought, Chris. It just depends on Jimmy Butler. If Jimmy Butler plays, I believe Golden State has a chance to win this game because game 3s are crucial. We talk about it all the time. But if he doesn't play, that's a lot of points. That's a lot of rebounds missing from your offense, man. And the fact of how the Rockets can rebound the ball, get extra possessions, they could be in this game. I have the Rockets winning this game 97-94. So my official bet is going to be on the under 204.5. I just believe a lot of empty possessions, but I don't believe a lot of chance points in this game because the Rockets pride their team on defense. And if they can pressure the ball, pressure Steph Curry, get the ball out of his hands, I believe that they can have success doing that. But they have to rebound. Don't give Golden State extra possessions because they're the type of team to get the offensive rebound and they'll shoot a 3. You know what I'm saying? And that'll just kill the whole momentum of that possession. So The fact that the Rockets can lock in on defense and rebound the ball, I believe we have a chance in this game. But I just believe that it all depends on Jimmy Butler for me, because that changes Golden State's total identity of their team, because the only offense you're really getting is from Steph. You got a couple of players that can contribute. Draymond Green ain't giving you nothing, and he's the one said that they go win the championship. So he has to show a little bit more to prove that point of what he said on national TV about the Warriors are going to, win this championship. But, you got players like Podolski, what's his name, the point guard.
Pajinski, Brandon Pajinski.
Yeah. You're going to have to see if he is a factor, too, because he was sick the last game, because he could get hot at any moment, too. So it just depends on if Jimmy Butler is in his lineup, Chris. But I've officially took the under 204.5, and I'm going to see if I can take the first quarter, too, for the Rockets, because they have been one of the best first quarter road teams all season. They're already 2-0 so far against the spread in the first quarter. But that all depends on if Jimmy Butler plays. If Butler plays, I probably going to stay off, because I believe that he's going to come in and, get some intensity in the game. And it's a home game as well. It's their first home game, in this series. So I believe Golden State is going to want to come out and show something different than what they showed in game 2. So all that said, under 204.5 official play, because I believe both defenses are going to play defense, play solid half-court defense. You get what I'm saying? Not a lot of fast breaks, because, the Warriors are averaging 12 fast break points in the series. Rockets are averaging 7. So these teams really don't run like that. They're half-court teams, and they like to score in the paint. So I believe that the total's going to be low, and I believe the Rockets have a chance to win this game, but depends on Jimmy Butler is in this lineup.
Yeah, Jimmy means a lot, LJ. So I tried to handicap the game as if Jimmy was going to play, and if Jimmy doesn't play, which I think he will play, but I think LJ might have mentioned it. He says it right. I mean, not LJ. I say LJ. Mark says it. He says, "Man, Golden State, worst luck with Jimmy. Even if he plays, it's going to be brutal." And I kind of think so. Of course, there's speculation, right? We see these players get these injections, and we think that they're going to be hobbled, and then next thing Ja Morant got both his feet over the rim. You know what I mean? We just saw this happen. In the game against Dallas, what was that? A week ago. So I do think a couple different things. So I'm looking at the game, couple things here. So some of the biggest difference that we saw in game 1 and game 2, the Houston Rockets offense got really, really hot in game 2. They had their point score per 100 possessions went up 27, almost 27 and a half. Their effective field goal percentage went up 15%. While Golden State offense really looked lethargic. They couldn't score the basketball. Brandon Pajinski was struggling with the illness. Jimmy Butler went down. Both teams shot more threes, LJ. Both teams shot a lot more threes. Golden State shot 12 more threes in game 2 than they shot in game 1. Houston shot 12% more threes. Not 12 more threes. I'm sorry. Both teams shot 12% more threes in game 1 than they did in game 2. And Houston shot the ball a lot better. They shot 19% better from the three-point line in game number 1. Both teams, you saw the Rockets not get as many offensive rebounds in game 2, but the Rockets also, they didn't turn the ball over as much. Their turnovers got cut almost 7%. Golden State stayed about the same. And then we saw the Rockets start to dominate in the half court. The half court went to 94th percentile. They were their offensive efficiency went up in the half court 51.6%. That's a lot, because we talked about the Rockets struggling to score the basketball in game 1. We saw absolute flip of that. Jalen Green was, doing his thing. Fred VanVleet had a pretty good game. Sengun played well. So what does that leave us as far as betting the game, man? A couple of different things. So if I like Houston, which I could see a world where Houston wins this game, especially if Jimmy's not 100%. If Jimmy does not play or he's limited at all, I think Golden State definitely takes a big spill on the offensive end, particularly in the mid-range, evident by Golden State struggling to shoot the ball from the mid-range in game number 2 after Jimmy went down. If you look at their long mid-range accuracy, their mid-range shot in general, in game 1, they shot 63.6%, which is finished 92nd percentile based on cleaning the glass. Houston shot just 25% from mid-range shots. In game 2, Golden State shot 0%. 0% as far as mid-range shots. And I think a lot of that had to do with Jimmy. He adds another dynamic to the team, right? Golden State long mid-range shooting collapsed. Like I said, Houston, they did a really good job at defending that mid-range shot. We've seen this Houston team, play really well on the road. We saw them, right before the season ended, go into Golden State, absolutely lock up Steph Curry. He had 3 points in that game. You can call it an outlier type of game, but we know Houston's going to be physical. I think some of this will come down to officiating as well, LJ. As the series has gone on, we've seen it get a little bit more physical each game. We know that these teams don't like each other. Dylan Brooks, Draymond Green, and the list just kind of goes on and on. So I don't know, man. I'm with LJ though. As far as the total goes, I do think it's an under game. I didn't bet it quite yet. I'll see what happened with Jimmy and how Jimmy comes in affects the total. But what I wrote in my notes is if Jimmy plays, it helps the defense, and he may not be as efficient on the offensive end. If Jimmy doesn't play, it hurts Golden State offense yet again, and it makes them more one-dimensional. They're more of a three-point shooting team. They don't have that dynamic playmaker, somebody that can get to the mid-range, somebody that can make it a little bit easier for them to get a bucket when they need to. They just become a jump shot shooting team, in my opinion. So yeah, Houston, they did pick up the pace. Game 1 was played at just 89 possessions per team. Game 2 was played at 95.5 possessions. Golden State allowed Houston a rim accuracy of 82.4% in game 2 compared to just 60% in game number 1. And then I start to go in and look at the trends. I also just kind of feel like one of these offenses is not going to show up in every single game this series, LJ. Game 1, your Rockets offense didn't show up. Game 2, it was the Golden State Warriors offense that didn't show up. I don't think we get the offenses showing up. So also some trends to support the under. Game 3s, decisive games, right? Where the line specifically is within 3, as we see with this one. They tend to see a little bit more defense. Totals are 12-5 to the under in the last 17 games. In game 3s, where we have a 3-point line, that's 70% to the under. 41-33-1 to the under, going all the way back to I think 2002 in the Give Me the Dog database. That's 55%. Game 3, where both teams, where both game 1 and 2 went under, because we did see 2 unders already. Game 3s are 37-20-2 to the under. 65.9% dating back to 2022 as well. If both game number 1 and 2 went under, the totals are actually 14-2 to the under. That's 88.5%. Just that same trend, just dating back to 2018. So more recently, game 3s go under if game 1 and game 2 go under as well. And then game 1, as I mentioned, one team, like I said, has been held with an offensive rating that's under 98 in each of the first 2 games. Like I said, Golden State first game, and then Houston in the second, and then Houston limited Golden State in the second game. So yeah, I think as long as we see both teams struggle from the 3-point line, which these are some pretty good 3-point defenses, and I don't trust either offense. I think one of them will have a pretty bad offense. I like the under. I think that's what I like the most. I really want to get there with Golden State. As LJ was talking, I did look into home favorites in game 3s, where the series is tied 1-1. And they're coming off a loss. They are 31-15 straight up, 27-19 against the number. That's 58.7% says that Golden State does win the game. They're winning by an average of about 7 points per game as well. The totals are 21, 23, and 2 to the under. So not a super strong trend, but that's 53% to the under as well. And more recently, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 of the last 8 games those home favorites have won. This is the same situation we saw with the Timberwolves last night, right? They were, home favorite, laying a small number, coming off a loss, and they absolutely get the job done. So yeah, it's a nice spot, I think, for the Warriors. I think 3.5 is too many points, though. I would want the Golden State Warriors probably on the money line. I don't have a future on the Warriors, though, so I really don't care. I do think that they are better than Houston, but without Jimmy Butler, I'm not sure. I like under, though. Under 204 if I'm betting this one. There are some 204.5s out there, so make sure you guys get the best of the number. Any closing comments or thoughts on this one, LJ?
No, man. Just a couple of player props that I got in this game for sure. Amir Thompson, man. I'm gonna ride with my man Amir. He only had 1 rebound the last game. So I'm gonna take his rebounds. I think it was at over 6.5 rebounds, minus 140. So I'm gonna take a shot on that one, and I'm gonna take a long shot on his double-double. It's at plus 400, because if the Rockets gonna have a chance to be in this game, they're gonna have to dominate the boards, man. And Amir Thompson, he's always everywhere. You know, he does everything on his team for the most part. He even handles the ball, you know, which a lot of times we get a lot of turnovers with him because he's not really a ball handler. But Amir Thompson still, not Amir, but Udoka still trusts him to handle the ball, you know, bring it up the court. So, but he can make plays as well. You know, he can jump real high. Like I said, he has hops. So I believe that over 8.5 rebounds he's averaging on the road on the season. So you give me 2 more rebounds, that's 10 rebounds right there. And you give me 10 points, I believe Amir Thompson could get that double-double, you know. So plus 400, I'm also looking at that as well. And like I mentioned, just all depends on if Butler is in his lineup, because I'm going to tweet everything out, tag everything, you know. So as soon as I find that out, I'm definitely leaning Rockets first quarter on the road, but definitely official under 204.5 is the play.
Under 204.5, me and LJ are absolutely aligned on that total, man. Like I said, I haven't bet it yet. Just kind of want to see what happens with Jimmy. As far as a min goes, you mentioned his rebounds, LJ. I bet his assists under in game number 1, and he finished with 6, but he had 13 potential in that game. Next game he comes back, even though y'all win the game in dominating fashion, he kills me because he goes under the 4.5 and only finishes with 3 on 6 potential assists. Today they've dropped the line to 3.5. I'm staying off of that one. I don't think I'm gonna touch that one at all. So yeah, I'm not sure. I will say this: we got to go back to it, right? So I know it's been a pretty long show. Hopefully it's been informative and we're helping you guys with your handicapping process. But let's just take another really quick trip over to Outlier. I'm looking at and of course this guy's always on my short list to go under on. He had a really good game. I think it's time to fade him. I do think it's time to fade him, Mr. Jalen Green, man. But I will say this: I haven't faded him yet, right? We see the 38-point game right here in the last game. He shot the ball really well. After the game, he was talking about the jitters that he had in game number 1 and how they kind of went away in game number 2. I mean, if the volume's there, right? Let's go ahead. So we look at his field goal attempts. He shot 13 for 25. If you're telling me, Chris, Jalen Green's going to shoot 25 times, I'm not betting the under because I know he eventually going to get there. But if you tell me he's shooting 15 times or 7 times or 10 times, I'm like, okay, cool. Maybe I'll get there. If we go in and look at the head-to-head matchup between, him and the Golden State Warriors, this is just not a team that he typically does well on. You go all the way back to this 7 right here. These are the games that have been played this season, going all the way back to November. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times. He's only hit the over on this 20.5 points twice. Now, granted, this is a big outlier performance. I do think he comes back down to earth. However, the reason why I didn't bet it, and it's on the short list, LJ, is because I really feel like they need Gary Payton to be a part of what they do defensively to throw at him. I'm not as big on Pajinski being a great defender. I think Moody is a solid defender in his own right, but I definitely want Gary Payton hounding him if I bet this under. So I'm not on Jalen Green officially, but you can see right here in the insight, he's failed to exceed 21.5 points in 4 of his last 5 games against top 10 defenses. Points for points allowed, he's averaging 15.6 in those games. And I mean, we got even more, numbers right here. Just this season alone, he's played them, 6, 7 times. He's under in 5 of the 7 games. And when he goes under, I mean, he's shooting the ball pretty terribly. It definitely aligns with what me and LJ are talking about as well, as far as full game under. I mean, somebody got to go under on their player props if we like the full game to go under. Yep. So yeah, absolutely think it could be a Jalen Green under type spot. Reem says he got the Warriors on the money line. If I'm betting it, I think the same thing. I know Naeli says the same thing. And me and Naeli are absolutely in agreement here. She says, I see this series going 6 or 7, but I don't know how tonight's game's going to shake out. Lean Warriors money line. I said the same thing. Going to wait and see, close to game time. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Kurt says he likes under. Appreciate you, Mark, for tapping in. Says great work. Appreciate that. Indigo Baby says dubs after a loss. Opponents 21-7 to their team total under. So maybe just isolate the Rockets specifically, thinking that they struggle to score the basketball. You can get the Rockets team total at 101.5. So think the Rockets don't get to 102. There's actually 100.5 on most books, but there's a 101 out there. Go ahead, LJ.
No, I'm saying I can see that. I can see both teams.
Me too. Yeah, one of these teams don't get to 100, LJ. We should be good money because the other team shouldn't score more than close to 100. So yeah, I like the under a little bit more than anything else. Get into a quick recap. LJ plays are, let me just straighten this up just a little bit. LJ plays are on the left-hand side. He talked about D's. Real quick, LJ, is there something on this list that I didn't get right? Let me know.
OKC first half, Clippers first half. He's under 2. Yep, that's pretty much
Okay.
official. Yeah.
Okay. All right, cool. So I haven't bet anything today, man. I got a couple futures that I need to ride out. Like I said, if we just need Memphis to win on the money line. Got 2, future bets in the Clippers game and on the Clippers in general. And then the Miami game and Cleveland game is a hard game to bet, in my opinion, without knowing the status of Darius Garland. I'm not just gonna come on here and say anything. So I'm not gonna bet that game officially. And then the Houston Golden State game, I think I will go official with this one, LJ. I haven't bet it yet. Let's see where I can get the best of the number. As you guys know, if you're new to the show, my official plays are always the ones in green. The red ones are things that I'm, close to the window. Maybe I'll play them, maybe I won't. Real quick, let's just see. And you know what? I'm not gonna make it official yet. I take it back. I'm not making it official because I still want to see. I'm gonna be patient. I still want to see what happens with Jimmy and where the total goes when Jimmy comes in because I might be able to get a better number. But right now you can get a 205 actually on Fanatics if you like the under. So 204 is available, 204.5 are available as well, and 205 it looks like is available on Fanatics right now if you got access to Fanatics Sportsbook. But yeah, LJ got some looks. LJ, tell the people where they can find your work at, man, if they're interested in checking you out.
They can hit me up on Twitter, man, at LJ Sports Media or X. I'm sorry, it's called X, and I want to make it the proper name. But yeah, at LJ Sports Media. They also can go on YouTube, Raw Words Podcast. Type in LJ from Houston. I got my podcast out. I haven't been doing any shows. Took some time off right now, but I'll be getting back up and going once football season starts. But as of right now, just hit me up at LJ Sports Media on Twitter is where they can find me. And I appreciate you having me, Chris, man. You one of the first voices I hear every morning, man, when I'm doing my route on my job. Appreciate your analysis. Me and you kind of look at the game the same way. That's why I love your work, man. You do your research, and I'm pretty sure I can speak for the people in this chat. We love the way you put in work, man, because you help us out a lot. We get our plays, so it's all about coming together, cohesiveness, and getting this money, man. So appreciate you, man, for having me on. Hopefully we can do this again soon.
Absolutely, LJ. I appreciate you reaching out, man. Appreciate that for sure, man. Shout out to my guy LJ. Y'all make sure y'all give him a follow over on X or Twitter, whatever you want to call it. Definitely check out, subscribe to the channel so when he go live on his YouTube page as well, man. Appreciate you for sure, LJ. And exactly what you said I do is what I try to do. Try to be a light. When we're sports betting, we're putting our hard-earned money. Yes. Money has a lot of negative connotations in general. It can be a little negative at times. So trying to keep it positive, trying to keep the vibes immaculate. I do appreciate that for sure, LJ. Real quick recap for myself, man. Davion Mitchell, that is not Donovan. Davion Mitchell up and over his points and assists at 18.5 if I'm betting that game, especially if I don't know the Garland news. I would like it. I don't really think they got a better guard to put in anyway, but Darius Garland is not a great defender, so I like Davion Mitchell, whether Garland plays or not. Clippers first half -3, like everybody said. Clippers full game -6. If I end up betting it, like I said, we'll see how that game goes. Jalen Green under, Houston Golden State under 204.5 as well. If I'm betting anything in that late game. And then, like I said, just real quick, man, if you join late, I will be doing a playback with the Clippers and the Nuggets game today at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The link for that is in the description of the video, as is the link for all these resources. I told you guys at the top of the show, jaXon likes Steve Merrill under his 3.5 rebounds and assists, I think it was the number. And jaXon also likes the Cleveland Cavaliers and the Miami Heat under 213.5 as well. I'm not sure if I would play that under, but jaXon likes the under. Resources are in the description. jaXon, Outlier, Moneyballer, OzJam. And we got some more resources coming too, man. More resources on the way as well. Appreciate you guys for tapping in. Do me a favor, hit that like button for me on the way out. Definitely helps the channel. Like I said, show some love to my guy LJ, and we will catch you guys in the next one, man. Y'all enjoy y'all Saturdays. We'll be back bright and early tomorrow. I'm out.